This is Danny Flexen here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined once again by Lou DiBella for the latest edition of DiBella's Digest. And Lou, as is customary, how has your week been?
I've had a very long, extremely hard-working week, but it's been pretty productive. I'm in a good mood for a 90-something degree Friday that's humid. We put a boxing show on sale August 3rd, Hulu Theater at Madison Square Garden. It's the first boxing show with fans since the pandemic began in New York. That's been a long time. It's featuring a rap battle between the Locks and Dipset. That's going to be on Versus, one of those rap battles. Honestly, the event is basically sold out already.
Wow.
And I think that's a lot of it's due to the rap acts, which are just awesome. It's an awesome rap battle between the Locks and Dipset. But it's also a strong boxing card. Mike Hunter's on it. Ivan Golub against Eric Walker for the USBA title that's vacant. Excellent welterweight fight. The co-feature is Chris Algieri against Mikel Lapierre, which is Long Island against Brooklyn, a big local matchup here in New York. And then there's a bunch of pro debuts of talented fighters. Irish Joe Ward is on the card. Back to the Garden for the first time since he blew his knee out in his pro debut. This will be in the small room, but it'll be available on Fight TV throughout Ireland and the UK. Joe Ward's on the card against an undefeated kid. So it's a strong card. It's going to be hooked into hip hop. The boxing card will be earlier than usual. So Joe Ward's fight will you won't have to stay up till the middle of the night to see it. And it's sold out already, for DiBella Entertainment, it's a pretty cool thing to be working with Triller and Versus and to be the promoter of record for the first fight back with fans in New York post-pandemic. So everybody that always thinks maybe I'm disappearing or maybe I threaten it too much, I'm still here.
Good, and we're glad to hear it. I wanted to talk to you a bit this week about Canelo and what his plans are for September. Because it's starting to seem like the Caleb Plant fight, which we've all thought for months was something of a lock for his September showing, may not actually come to pass. What's your
Who cares?
take
I mean, I don't want to say who cares because I like Caleb. I think Caleb's a good fighter. I like the matchup. Do I think Caleb beats Canelo? Frankly, no. Do I think Caleb deserves a fight? Absolutely. He deserves that opportunity to fight the best. He's a champion himself. It's a unification. I am very pro unification, as you know. But you know what? If they don't want to take multiples of the most money he's ever made, then Canelo's the star. You move on. I think that there are enough alternatives where Canelo can make a good fight if he wants to. And I think you'll know one way or the other pretty quickly because I don't think Canelo's going to move his schedule because the B side, even if he's another champion, doesn't want to fight him.
Hopefully we don't know before this video goes out. That's my only concern. But as Caleb...
No, you know what? If we do know before the video goes out, good. Because then we'll be saying we got a unification in the division. We got Canelo in with Plant. Plant's a deserving guy. It says that a big deal got made between two competing platforms. Yeah. which is a move in the right direction and a good sign. But if it doesn't happen, there's no doubt who has more alternatives. I mean, at least for the money we're talking about. I mean, I don't see where Caleb Plant can get Canelo money anyplace else.
What is the thinking from the Caleb Plant team? I mean, obviously you don't know for sure. But
I'm not gonna touch that. I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna go there. But I don't see any other way for Caleb Plant to make that kind of money.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like
I'm very happy, by the way, Amanda Serrano against another champion, Mercado, 122-pound BC champion. Amanda defending her multiple belts at featherweight on the Jake Paul, Tyrone Woodley undercard. I'm thrilled. I got Charles Conwell, my co-promoter in Charles Conwell, Tony Holden, is the local promoter for Jake and Showtime on that card. I'm grateful to Steven Espinoza and Showtime. I'm extremely grateful to Jake Paul for giving two super deserving champions a chance on that card. you know, and Charles Conwell, who's from Cleveland. In my mind, Charles Conwell is at the top of the list of best young fighters in America and best prospects. If Charles, you know, right now only getting platforms and opportunities to show his talent, that's all he needs to become a star. And this is a great platform in his hometown. So that's going to be August 29th, only on Showtime pay-per-view. Tickets on sale now. Jake Paul versus Tyrone Woodley. And you already know this. You know, I got a warm spot for Jake Paul. I always have. And I'm grateful that he's giving our fighters this opportunity. So those fights are coming. The Triller Show, I have Mick LaPierre fighting Algieri. I have, you know, I promote Golub and Walker. That's a sensational fight. Joe Ward. So there's some good stuff coming in August. And I'm going to have some announcements for our next conversation too.
I'm glad to hear it. I'm going to drag you back to Canelo just for 2 more questions. If it's not,
you had to give me a chance to
sell.
Come on,
That's good. Just thinking about it, if Caleb Plant doesn't end up being in the opposite corner, twofold question: who's most likely to face Canelo, and who should Canelo face? I mean, it may be the same person.
You know, I haven't even looked at who. Like, I don't know who Eddie and Canelo have even mentioned. I heard something about Bivol.
Beterbiev was mentioned.
Bivol's certainly not going to price himself out of the fight. I mean, I know his people. I know where things stand right now for him. He's deserving. It's honestly, you know, he's 75 pounders in my mind are very intriguing against Canelo. Bivol's a very skilled guy. I like that fight. I don't think Beterbiev's going to happen with Canelo, and I don't know how much I care that much. I mean, but there's nothing wrong with it. If they made it, it's a hell of a fight. You know, it's a very strong, physically strong guy. I don't know what other names are being considered. If they can't do a deal with Plant, you have to assume they can't do a deal with Charlo or one of the other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like if they can't do a deal
affiliated
with PBC, you would assume they can't do a deal with PBC. So I'm not going to sit here just to play around and mention PBC names. I haven't really thought about who else is out there. Have you any other names?
Apparently, Triple G has been telling people that he's gone into training camp
that would be
potentially.
Nothing wrong with that. I mean, that honestly may be bigger than any of the other names we threw around, including Caleb Plant, including Beterbiev, including Bivol. I mean, it's still Triple G. He's a legend. Okay, I personally think he's a legend on the wrong side of his peak. But he's always had Canelo's number a little bit to give him hard fights. And there's no reason why a boxing fan wouldn't want to see that again. So there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's just, they've been talking about that for so long. It's sort of I'll believe I'll see Canelo Golovkin again when I see Canelo Golovkin again.
Would the timing of that fight, and also if it's up at 168 pounds, would those things favor Canelo?
Everything would favor Canelo.
Good point. Yeah, I mean, it's tough, isn't it, for Triple G now? But it's the biggest money out there for him.
I mean, look, if Triple G was fighting like Murata or someone like that, I mean, I wouldn't be making Triple G an underdog. No. You know, I mean, and to be honest, if he's fighting there are a lot of guys out there that he'd still be a favorite against. Just Canelo, I mean, he doesn't have a lot of advantages on Canelo, other than what I said earlier. He's always seemed to be able to fight with him, to have his number to a degree. But right now, I mean, honestly, if I was a betting man and we're talking about like who's going to run over to William Hill, I don't see him beating Canelo.
So Golovkin, Caleb Plant, Dmitry Bivol, who's got the best chance of beating Canelo out of those three?
Bivol.
And why? Just the size, or?
But he won't.
Yeah, none of them will. But
none of them will. But the size, a little bit. I mean, Plant can, Plant's style in some ways might be more difficult than Triple G's right now. And he's fought Triple G twice, and Triple G hasn't gotten any younger. So And I probably would say Bivol a little bit only because I think Canelo's perfect weight is where he is right now.
Yeah.
So if he's going up, it's just because he's going up to get top competition, right? But so I mean, probably Bivol, but Bivol means way less. I mean, Plant means way more than Bivol, and Triple G means way more than Bivol. So even though Bivol might give him the best fight, from a marketability, saleability, promotability standpoint, it's the least significant of the three fights from a selling ticket, selling pay-per-view standpoint, or tuning into DAZN standpoint.
Does anyone from 160 to 175 beat Canelo in your view?
I think that there's some 75 pounders that make it a little interesting. I mean, he's right now he's so good. Like, I mean, would I be picking against him, against anybody up there right now? No, but I could tell you ways, path. Here's the thing. Right now, when you're dealing with a guy that you think is the pound for pound king, in a perfect world, you want him to fight somebody that's credible and that you could think might have a path to victory. Right?
Yeah.
So, that's what makes the Bivols and Beterbievs attractive. That's what makes the Charlos attractive, or even Plant with his style. Style's very difficult. He's very technically sound. He's got good defense. He's got good fundamentals. Like any of those guys, like you're looking for a guy that you might say, okay, in a perfect night, maybe this guy has a path to victory. And on a perfect night, Triple G proved in the first fight that he had a path to victory. However, I don't think it's the same Triple G, right?
And Jake Paul, who we've mentioned this week, and well, I say this week and last week, they were both actually this week when we filmed them, but you've got a soft spot for him. We know that. We admire his work ethic and the fact that he's willing to test himself. He's come out this week with a statement saying he believes he can fight Canelo in 3 years' time. Realistic?
You know what? You're gonna think this is funny, but I ain't mad at him for saying that at all. And I'll tell you why. He's going full time on his boxing career. He's got real trainers, nutritionists, and people around him. Yeah, he's still fighting Tyrone Woodley, but he didn't say, I want to fight Canelo next. He's not Oscar De La Hoya saying, put me in the ring with Canelo. At Oscar's age right now, he's a young guy saying, give me 3 years. If over the course of the 3 years, he can prove that he's capable of beating a top 20, top 15, 75 pounder, right? Could I see him in an interesting exhibition, maybe at a catch weight where he's bigger than Canelo, or, fighting Canelo in 3 years to test himself? Why not? I mean, let the man dream. He's not disrespecting our sport in any way. I mean, if you put me on a lie detector right now, when you ask me the question, is Jake Paul right now good for boxing? I would 100% come out as telling the truth when I say yes. Like, yes, right now, I think Jake Paul is good for boxing.
Simply because of the eyeballs he brings to the product that otherwise.
Not just because of the eyeballs he brings, the respect he has for the sport and for other fighters, for boxers, for his willingness to try to help other boxers. I mean, he showed me a lot putting Amanda and Mercado on his card. Putting a guy like Charles Conwell, who's unquestionably one of the best young fighters in America, but hasn't gotten the platform from the big platforms, hasn't gotten the opportunity to show himself on the biggest stage, and Jake's giving him that chance in Cleveland. Giving Montana Love, who's an undefeated Cleveland fighter, that chance in Cleveland. And his work ethic, which I've been told by many people is crazy, that he works really hard to become better. And here's the other thing, this, if you've watched his fights, and I think anybody that knows boxing a little bit, if you've watched what Jake Paul's done in the ring, even against the people he's fighting, he's clearly improving.
Yeah.
So let's see where he is with 3 years of improvement. Is he ever going to beat Canelo? Fuck no. But can he dream about one day an exhibition with him that's entertaining and that people want to see? I think he can. And here's the other thing, and I'm gonna say something a lot of people are going to disagree with. I promoted a lot of fighters in my life and been around a lot of fighters in my life. Do I think that if Jake Paul continues to improve in a year or two, he can beat guy ranked by one of those major organizations? Yes. Yes, I do.
Okay. Well, there we have it. I think you're his number one fan. He's got a lot of fans.
No, but also what I'm saying about the organizations maybe also reflects my opinion of the ratings.
Yeah, sure.
Right. But I think the kid's taking it seriously. I think he's an athletic guy. He was, very athletic guy. He had a wrestling background, combat sports background. He's boxing full time. He has unlimited resources, honestly, and he wants to get better. I mean, he's got a lot of advantages, and if they all optimize and he continues to improve, I think that we might be talking about Jake Paul a little bit differently in a year and a half.
Well, let's see when we do our DiBella's Digest in 2024. We might be previewing Canelo against Jake Paul in the next.
Yeah, but if let's face reality. If it's Canelo, unless something radically changes, it's going to be it's probably, I still think it's going to be an exhibition. You're talking about the best fighter in the world, but you know what, man? If Jake Paul were able to beat in 2 years a couple of world-rated guys, and is it the craziest thing on earth that he gets a shot against Canelo? No, not at all, man. Not at all.
In terms of lucrative possibilities.
And by the way, we're in fucking boxing, the theater of the unexpected, the place with no rules, the Wild West, the Dodge City of boxing, the red light district. Anything is possible.
In a way, it'd be more surprising if it didn't happen.
I mean, look, if Tyrone Woodley knocks him out, he's never fighting Canelo. But I don't think that's happening. I don't think that's happening.
No, me neither. Brilliant, Lou. You've been entertaining as always, and I look forward to catching up with you again next week.
My pleasure, my friend. Be well.
And you take care.